Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
Here at the News at Noon show, we assemble the best and most interesting news from the area, and Jerry Tope brings you the local weather and related news. Give us a call with news tips or topics that you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
We're glad you tuned in to watch DCTV. Today's show is live on Wednesday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Saturday at noon, 3 and 6.
Coming up, thefts in Durango, hemp in Dolores County, special events, and more.
And also the Colorado Transportation Bill, Dolores Campground, new firewood permits with weather, the Sheriff's Report, and area happenings. Today is April 26, 2017, and now the news at noon. Theft in the Durango area is on the rise. The Durango Herald reported that in response to recent thefts, the La Plata County Sheriff's Office reminds residents to lock their cars and garages and avoid leaving mail in their mailboxes. At least 5 thefts from cars and garages of electronics, clothing, and other items occurred recently between the 9,000 block and 12,000 block of County Road 213. Thieves look for items that can be taken quickly and with little disturbance. People who leave their vehicles, garages, and homes unlocked tend to be prime targets. Mailboxes are also targets for identity theft. For instance, blank checks are often included in monthly credit card statements and can be used at the resident's expense if stolen. Mail has recently been stolen from dozens of mailboxes along 8-mile section of Highway 172, from the 100 to the 8,000 block, and from the entire length of County Roads 220 and 510 during the day and night. In any neighborhood, to avoid becoming a victim of mail theft, do not put outgoing mail in the mailbox by the side of the road and recover mail as soon after the postal carrier delivers it as possible. Also in Durango, La Plata County's Search and Rescue was working Tuesday evening to reach a hiker who fell and injured his knee on Missionary Ridge just north of Durango. The lone hiker notified authorities of his situation about 4:40 p.m. between Red Creek and Shearer Creek, west of Lemon Reservoir, said Butch Nalton, director of Search and Rescue. The hiker's phone appeared to have gone dead or lost signal, but rescue workers had coordinates of his approximate location, Nalton said. There were reports that he was using a makeshift crutch to try to walk to meet rescuers. The hiker reportedly had a headlamp on.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, the legislature primed itself to fall short of its goals Tuesday when it killed the most comprehensive transportation bill funding package put toward this session. House Bill 1242 would have asked taxpayers to approve a sales tax increase from a half cent to 3.4% to raise millions of dollars over 20 years to fund transportation, as well as a $3.5 billion bond to get work underway on shovel-ready projects. It was killed by the Senate Finance Committee on a 3-2 party line vote. The funding generated by HB 1242 would have been split, with the Colorado Department of Transportation getting 35%, counties and municipalities almost 50%, and a multimodal transportation options fund receiving 15% to provide grants for multimodal improvements. But the tax increase proved to be too much for Republicans on the committee. The passage of HB 1242 was in doubt last week when Senate President Kevin Grantham, a Republican of Canyon City, called a news conference to talk about the lack of support by Republicans on the Finance Committee. Regional advocacy groups, county commissioners, and concerned citizens testified both in support and against sending the bill to the Senate floor and to a vote of the people of Colorado.
The Journal reported on the state of the Mancos State Park. Though Southwest Colorado saw the return of colder weather this week, Mancos State Park is ready for the summer season, Park Manager Scott Elder said. Areas for all-day use are now open at the park, including the campground. The road on the west side of the park is also open. Programming at the park starts in earnest on Memorial Day weekend, with events each day. Nature walks, music performances, and other events will continue through the summer. Jackson Lake has already received a full fish stock, and it will be a relatively high water year for the lake. As other area reservoirs have banned boating because of concerns about invasive mussels, Elder said he expects to have inspectors and allow trailered boating at Jackson Lake. Boaters have been required to have their crafts pre-inspected. They have then dropped off a seal and receipt of inspection at a drop box at Mancos State Park prior to launching their boats. This year, he expects to have inspectors checking for mussels at the boat ramp during daytime hours. However, the park still will be following the pre-inspection process. If they haven't already had their boat inspected, boaters can call the park at 970-882-2213 to find out if there's an inspector working the boat ramp. Some fire mitigation in ponderosa pine forests in the park will start the first week of May and last for several weeks. There may be some disturbance to park visitors as crews work to maintain the health of the forest. For more information about Mancos State Park, visit the park website at cpw.state.co.us. Mancos State Park is located at 42545 Road N, about 5 miles north of Mancos. The park is open 24 hours a day. A daily pass is $7 and an annual pass is $70. Basic campsites are available for $18 a night, and the park offers yurts that sleep 6.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, Colorado lawmakers on Friday pushed forward a measure to increase transparency in presidential elections. House Bill 1328, which would require candidates for president and vice president to submit their tax returns to the Colorado Secretary of State as a condition of being placed on the ballot, was passed on a 36-28 party line vote, with Republicans opposed. Representative Chris Hansen, Democrat of Denver, said HB 1328 is needed after the refusal of President Donald Trump to make his tax returns public. There's no doubt that the 2016 election is on everybody's mind. It would be silly to pretend otherwise, but I think it's that experience that highlights the importance of requiring this disclosure, Hansen said. Trump's reluctance to release his returns breaks what Hansen believes is a long-standing tradition in national politics that has until now been an unwritten rule crucial to the electoral process. The voters of Colorado deserve the ability to evaluate their presidential candidates and their vice presidential candidates based on their financial dealings, and the tax return is the most straightforward, easy way to make sure that information is available for voters, Hansen said. But not everyone in the Colorado House of Representatives agreed. Representative Kevin Van Winkle, Republican of Highlands Ranch, said he voted against the bill because he felt it was unconstitutional, as it overstepped the state's purview by placing a requirement on a federal office.
DCTV attended the Dolores County Planning Commission regular meeting on Monday, April 24th, where the only external item on the agenda was the first special event permit application presented by Bonnie Candelier with Jen Johnson of the Groundhog Lake Campground. The Groundhog Lake Campground and RV park with a general store is located right on Groundhog Lake. The facilities are open seasonally from May through November. They have hosted a successful annual public 4th of July celebration for many years. Last month, the new Dolores County Land Use Special Event Permit resolution was adopted and accepted, which allows for the county to address commercial events held within the county on lands that are typically not used for such events. The decision to implement a permit and potential fee for such activity was done to allow for the county commissioners to oversee activities to ensure the health and well-being of all residents in the county. The entire text of the resolution and the permit application are both available online at the Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce website, dovecreekchamber.com. As this is the first permit application being addressed, basic discussion initially involved further explaining several elements within the resolution and reviewing if they were applicable for the groundhog event or not. The Planning Commission's duty is to determine if the event needs a special event permit. Is it a level 1, which goes through an abbreviated process, or level 2, which demands more extensive information, including contracts and supporting documents? At that point, they review the application to make sure it is complete before determining whether to pass it up to the county commissioners, where they review the information, set a public hearing if needed, and issue a permit if applicable. After some discussion and input from the county lawyer, Dennis Goldbrick, and asking patience for this being the first application to go through the process, the board decided to go forward with a level 1 permit application, waive the fee at this point for the commissioners to determine in their review. Groundhog Lake 4th of July event will host a fishing and horseshoe tournament. All fees are paid back to the entrance as the prizes. There will not be any fireworks. There is a bonfire and a DJ supplying music for a dance area next to the lake. There's no entrance fee, and the estimated amount of people at the event at any given time is estimated at 100 or less. This is a family fun activity for those who are already camping or renting a cabin lakeside, for the adjacent area residents, and anyone coming through the National Forest area during the national holiday weekend. It would seem that though the campground itself is commercial and the DJ music is part of a mix, but not a focal point, the permit process may not qualify under the new guidelines to require a permit. DCTV will follow up on how the county commissioners address the process in their upcoming meeting.
According to the Cortez Journal, permits to cut firewood on the San Juan National Forest will be on sale starting May 1st at agency offices and selected selected retail outlets. A minimum purchase of $20 allows the bearer to gather 2.5 cords of dead and downed firewood from the San Juan National Forest for personal use before December 31st. Permits, which come with a brochure and map, are available at Dolores Public Lands Office, 29211 Highway 184, Dolores. Dolores Food Market, 400 Railroad Avenue, Dolores. Cox Conoco, 201 East Railroad Avenue, Mancos. Cutting firewood for commercial resale requires a commercial permit. Restrictions apply to the cutting of standing dead ponderosa pine and live gamble oak. Permit holders are expected to be familiar with these regulations. For more information, contact the San Juan Public Lands Center at 970-247-4874. And now here's our weather report.
Last night's low was about 8 degrees lower than National Weather Service estimates for the Dove Creek vicinity and hit 22 degrees for a few hours. There is a fast-moving trough approaching the northwest, expected to bring scattered snow showers to the northern and central mountains today. National Weather Service says that northernmost Colorado ranges may see more than a foot in some areas. They have upgraded the watch to a warning for Elkhead, Park, and Flat Tops beginning this evening and continuing through Thursday evening. Less is expected in the central mountains, where an advisory is up for tonight through tomorrow afternoon. Snow levels are expected to drop to mountain-based levels in the northern part of the state, but only a small accumulation is likely at those lower elevations. That system is moving in a southeasterly direction and will still be in the region Thursday morning and clearing out for a mostly sunny afternoon. The mountains to our east will continue to have scattered showers into Thursday night. Friday morning has chances of sprinkles and flurries and a slight chance of showers. Friday has been on and off again all week, and the low involved may cut itself off and become a closed low as if further confusion is needed. However, actual moisture content measurements previously posted were at a low level that virtually never does more than a few dirty specks on the windshield in the Four Corners area. Those levels will usually do much more to the north in the Grand Junction area. As this is our last broadcast for the week, I have to stick with dirty speckles for Friday and say, with the lows having exceeded expectations, that fruit production in our corner is unlikely. But I hear my pear tree is able to tolerate harsher freezing than the others, so I refuse to give up all hope yet. The front in the upper Great Lakes and Mississippi Valley area is still moving eastward and will reach the lower Great Lakes and Ohio Valley and southeast Tennessee by Thursday evening. Ahead of this front's boundary, from the lakes to the southern plains to the western Gulf Coast, showers will develop and begin to affect the southern Appalachians and southeast by Thursday evening as well. And as mentioned in our regional forecast, the front moving southeast from the Pacific Northwest will move through our corner of the world Thursday evening and Friday morning and reach the southern high plains over the weekend. High elevation snow and low elevation rain will continue in the Pacific Northwest through Thursday evening. The northern mid-Atlantic coast will have rain migrating and weakening as it reaches New England Thursday morning and the New England coast by evening. Clouds, showers, and cold air will keep afternoon temperatures well below normal today and Thursday. This means lower 50s dropping to mid-40s for Friday and climbing back up from 50 Saturday to a hopeful 63 degrees for Monday. Overnight lows, on the other hand, will be cold, below freezing until Sunday night's 34, and then to the upper 30s for Monday night. Typical for late April and early May temps. Now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, Mancos School District will move to a 4-day week next school year. Board members unanimously voted to make the switch at their regular meeting Monday after hearing results of a survey sent out to district parents. Most survey respondents favored the change, according to board members. Though Superintendent Brian Hansen wasn't completely sold on the new calendar, board member Monty Giles said the board had to represent its constituents by making the change. Change is difficult, Giles said, but the vote we got back is substantial. At the elementary school, there are 116 survey responses, according to interim principal Drew Pearson. Of those responses, 54% were in favor of the proposed schedule, 28% said they were not in favor of the schedule, and 18% said they were indifferent. The first day of school this fall for students will be Tuesday, August 15th. Staff will work 2 days prior to that date, starting Friday, August 11th, and students will not have school each Friday, but staff will work every other Friday.
In an article published in PhysOrg Online, references a study published in the April 24 edition of the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences entitled Ocean Warming Since 1982 Has Expanded the Niche of Toxic Algal Blooms in the North Atlantic and North Pacific Oceans. The study brought together biologists and climate scientists, making use of ecosystem observations, lab experiments, and 35 years of satellite-based temperature estimates, made daily with very high degree of spatial resolution. Past studies have predicted that toxic algal blooms were likely to become more common in the future. This is one of the first studies to link the recent intensification of these events to ocean warming. Confidence in the findings of the study came from the matching of the findings to one of the central principles of global warming biology. Organisms, including toxic algal, will migrate toward the Earth's poles as warming progresses, and the identification of newly hospitable regions of the ocean for these algae in the study matches newly documented toxic algal blooms. A team of scientists led by Dr. Christopher Gobler, no joke, marine science professor in the School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences at Stony Brook University, used data along with growth response of two of the most toxic algae in the North Atlantic and North Pacific Ocean, called Alexandrium and Dinophysis. Since 1982, broad stretches of these ocean basins have warmed and become significantly more hospitable to these algae. Alexandrium and Dinophysis are serious health concerns as they make neurotoxins and gastrointestinal toxins that can cause paralytic and diuretic shellfish poisoning in humans. Toxic or harmful algal blooms are not a new phenomenon. Many people may know them by other names, such as red tides. These events can sicken or kill people who consume toxin-contaminated shellfish and damage marine ecosystems by killing fish and other marine life. The problem is worsening. The distribution, frequency, and intensity of these events have increased across the globe. This study links this expansion to ocean warming in some regions of the North Atlantic and North Pacific Oceans. Dr. Rafael Cadella, professor of ocean sciences, University of California, Santa Cruz, a national toxic algae expert who was not part of the study, says it confirms an expected but difficult to test direct link between toxic blooms and climate. Marine algae are so tiny, 50 of them side by side span only the width of a single human hair, that they may seem harmless. But when billions of toxic cells come together, they can poison humans, kill marine life, and economically harm coastal communities. Economic losses attributed to this phenomena over the course of the last decade have been estimated at more than $1 billion.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, Dolores depends on the outdoor recreation economy, and nobody exemplifies that more than Billy and Lainey Behan, owners of the Dolores River Campground. The hard-working couple were awarded the 2017 Business of the Year by the Dolores Chamber of Commerce Saturday night at the annual spring banquet. When the Behans left their corporate jobs in 2013 to join the outdoor lifestyle, they came upon the neglected campground east of Dolores and saw a diamond in the rough. It was exactly what we were looking for, a fixer-upper that needed a lot of work, Laney says. They quickly transformed the scenic riverfront property into a thriving business that brings in campers to southwest Colorado from across the nation and world. The Behans invest strongly in the community and give generously to local organizations, Calvert said. They donate use of their facilities to Dolores Schools events including prom, the School to Farm project, elementary restaurant project, and youth programs. They are always improving their campground services and refer customers to fellow chamber partners. Laney said when the campground opens May 1st, it will be their 5th season.
Last Friday in Dove Creek at the Community Voice Meeting Room, local resident Charles Littlejohn assembled a meeting to introduce his newly formed company, Southwest Agriculture Products, and introduce the Four Corners Hemp Growers Association. As a hemp enthusiast, he has been working diligently to get the ball rolling for opportunities involving growing the non-hallucinogenic plant here in our area. In attendance was his lawyer, David B. Bush, who is a senior attorney with the Hoban Law Group out of Denver, specializing in cannabis, and associate Mark Goldfogel, founder of iWorkForCannabis.com out of Paradox. In addition to introducing the new organizations, they hosted a discussion on the various issues surrounding the future of industrial hemp nationally and locally. This covered 3 main points. First, power in numbers, describing how this cooperative could be beneficial to many smaller acreage owners as a way to get involved in a crop growing process with the power of many to leverage price points on items such as seed or equipment use. Mr. Goldfogel also emphasized the advantages of educative elements in a cooperative by learning from each other's experiences. Secondly, risk was addressed. Mr. Bush reviewed the current legal conditions surrounding the cousin to medicinal marijuana, the different legislation and legal variances at the state and federal government levels, and in particular, how it relates to the 2014 Farm Bill. Optimistically, it appears that a range of proposed legislation is being considered to continue to distance industrial hemp as a crop distinct from the marijuana industry. And thirdly, the discussion heated up over the level of reward. That is, a discussion of the potential for profit, which is dependent on a number of currently unknown factors: the seed costs, compliant testing costs, market fluctuations for end users for fiber, oils, or seeds. It's also obvious that the cost for the distance for delivery to existing processing plants or buyers all are needed to make a sound investment choice. Mr. Bush and Mr. Goldfogel were both very frank about the information they provided those in attendance. Who can disagree that the U.S. should not be importing hemp from China and Canada while we are obviously capable of growing it here on our own soil? What will the future of the return of USA farmed hemp look like? Well, the bottom line suggestion was that rural areas in Colorado should get started now so that as the rules, regulations, and markets work themselves out, a place like Dolores County will be well situated to take advantage of the additional crop to grow the future.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of April 17th through the 23rd. Several reports of a person sitting in the middle of the highway in town were made. Deputies responded to the scene and notified the resident that this was unsafe. The resident was holding a yard sale and was attempting to gain attention to the sale. A resident made an in-person report of a motorist exhibiting road rage and driving erratic through town. All officers were notified. Officers responded to a report of domestic dispute. The sheriff's office investigated a report of aggressive behavior towards an employee at a local business. That's it for today's roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
And for today's High Canyon Country happenings, they're all on the Facebook page. You can check them out. And all of the happenings are posted up there, along with our Facebook page news, the embedded YouTube replays, the weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, please contact us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on the air.
Thanks for tuning in. This program airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then it is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m., and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
We're also featuring a live call-in show called Talk Tuesday. It's aired on Tuesday evenings at 5:30 p.m. and rebroadcast throughout the week at 5:30. Be sure to check out our Facebook page. As I said, it has all the links and details, original stories, the video replays. Please like us there and share the link.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.